All right, everyone. Well, here we are Tuesday morning, and I am surprised that today was as slow as it was after such a hot day yesterday. Yesterday, we had GNLN that went up 700% by the end of the day, which was phenomenal. But then they did an offering, and the price dropped in an instant from about $20 a share all the way to $10. Now, it did bounce off that level, but that put a little damper on momentum, although it was in the last 15 minutes of the day, and that had squeezed up so much, I wasn't sure how much it would really hurt sentiment going into today, because ultimately it did put in a 700% move. So as we sat down today, you can see my P&L. I'm green on 5 stocks, 100% accuracy, and all of these stocks were stocks that had a news headline. There's one trade on here that was an accidental trade, which we'll talk about. But for the most part today, it was pretty smooth, just with the exception that we didn't have anything that really held up super well, which was kind of disappointing. So let's start by just taking a look back at GNLN. So yesterday, this thing makes this absolutely incredible move into the afternoon, pushes higher. It finally squeezes up right here. And it was actually impressive the way it broke, because all of a sudden in one candle, it's like, boom, up to 12, right? That's a huge move from 950 to 12. Pulls back, and then it's up to 14 to 15 to 16. Pulls back up to 17. Big drop here. Drop from 1680s down to about 1450. Bounces back up, squeezes to 17. Another drop back down. Pushes higher, up to 18, up to 19, up to $21. And then boom, offering news right there at 355, going right into the close. And you know what was kind of remarkable to me was that the offering price was $2.50 a share. I was kind of blown away by this, because the fact is this was trading above 250 all day long. They could have and should have, if they wanted to raise capital, sold on the open market right here at $8 a share during this period of consolidation. They could have sold 1 million shares in this area, and they would have raised $8 million, selling only 1 million shares. Instead, they sold, it was two something million shares at 250, or maybe it was 3 million shares, whatever it was. They raised like $6 million, but I really think they made a big mistake by not selling at a higher price. Selling at 250 is just way, way, way too cheap. That basically, the money that they could have made, they gave to the investor who bought those shares, who's going to just turn around most likely and just sell them. And maybe they already have, I don't know. But I don't think they have, because I don't think it closes. Well, I guess I'm not sure. But anyways, nonetheless, I was kind of disappointed in that. And I feel like management at the company did not do a good job with the two goals of, on the one hand, raising capital, but on the other hand, preserving shareholder value, right? You sell shares at $2.50 a share when the current trading price at that moment was $20. That's not good for shareholders. So disappointing. But anyways, it is still holding at 1050 right now. I don't think it's going to have more in it. Also noteworthy that it ran right into the 200 moving average right there at $20. So I had it on watch. I didn't take any more trades on it yesterday, but I was considering trading after hours if it kept going. And then, boom, news comes out. So that was, anyways, so that's that. So this morning, well, I started yesterday, kind of after this move. Last night, I sort of began thinking about today by looking at my after hours scanner. So after hours top gainer scanner, I pulled it up on my phone. I saw CX AI was the leader with 73% gap. I pulled it up, I kind of looked at it and I was like, float, 10 million shares, a little higher. I'm not sure. Now you can see here, it's kind of funny because pre-market, after hours, it pops up, sells off. Pre-market, I look at it and it's not moving higher. So I'm like, no, I don't think it's going to work. It ends up pushing higher during kind of an unusual time of day here from, 12 to 1:30. Not typically when you see big momentum, but anyways, that one's moving higher. I didn't take any trades on it because during the pre-market session, there was just nothing to trade. It didn't look good. So for after hours gainers, we didn't have much. I sat down and I saw nothing. I saw CXAI and nothing else that I liked. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to sit here and be patient. So first trade was at 7:30. PBM hits the scanners. And on this one, I saw non-binding letter of intent to advance psilocybin drug development. And I thought, all right, non-binding letter of intent, it's biomedical. What did we have that was strong yesterday? We had TRNR, right? You recall that one. That was a cheaper stock. And then, of course, we had GNLN, which is made this big move on, kind of the letter of intent, I think, to be the primary distributor for a test strip for testing for drugs and stuff like that. So I thought, all right, well, lower price stock, though, like TNR, that could work. So PBM, it pops up. I see it's got a headline, and I'm thinking, all right, let's watch it. So it immediately pops up and is showing 58 cents, 60 cents. And as soon as I pull it up on my scanner, I see it moving, and I bought in this candle. Right here, I was like, I'm buying this. So I end up getting filled at 58 cents, 60 cents, and 62 cents. So I kind of fill 4 cents apart. It ends up popping up here and pushing up to about 69 cents. And it then kind of pulls back, and that was it. And unfortunately on this one, if we look at the 1 minute chart, you'll see that it had higher volume on the red candles. So, I got in quick right on that breaking news headline, and it squeezed up to 69 there, but then drops down on heavy selling. I had to stop out. So ended up on a 15,000 share position, making, because I added as it went higher, about $1,100. Honestly, not bad. But in any case, that was not the trade I was hoping for. So that was the first trade, broke the ice on the day. And I did take larger a position because it's a cheaper stock, but I didn't feel like I was really taking too much risk. So still was keeping the risk in check on that trade. Next trade was APLM. APLM comes out with news this morning as well. And wow, this one's unbelievable. Look at how much this one's pulled back. All the way back down to 17 cents a share. What a shame. Well, nonetheless, I got in this. It starts squeezing up. I didn't get in it initially because it's too cheap. I really don't like trading these lower price stocks, but I also did have my biggest winner yesterday on a lower price stock. Was it yesterday or was it Friday? No, I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. And, I don't want to turn my back on something that is squeezing up 100%. So I got in this at 32 cents right here. And as you can see, we ended up getting a nice move up to 40 cents a share. So ended up having ascending support here. I wondered if that would hold, but after that first MACD crossover, we really never rallied back up, and then we sold off going into the open. So on that one, made, let's see, unfortunately, only $100. I got in and basically got back out. I didn't get my full, I can't remember, was it my full order? No, I got my order filled, but it sort of faked me out. I stopped out, and then I didn't want to get back in because of commissions. So then that was that. The next trade that I took, which was also breaking news, was GNPX. GNPX, I also only made $100 on. And I got in this, although I know some of you guys got better entries at $1.60. I pressed the buy button on this candle. I saw $1.60 on the ask. I pressed the buy button. I got filled at $1.90. Holy smokes, that's some slippage. So I'm in at $1.90. It goes to 210 or whatever. I got right out. It ends up dropping. So now I'm thinking this is not, this was the trend today. None of these were holding up well. It's really disappointing. And LASC was the same thing. I jumped in it and this was the trend. Now I decided to call it quits. I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. We're not seeing anything holding up. I'm going to just be grateful that I'm not red, but none of these trades worked out well. Then ELWS at the open, everything is fading, and ELWS comes out, halts up, opens higher, sells off, and then squeezes from 260 to 340, pulls back, goes up to 420, pulls back, jackknife candle before rallying here up to 520. And I didn't trade it because at that point I switched gears and was teaching a class for our members. So I felt a little discouraged that the only one that was really strong today I missed. Well, I guess you could say that APLM was pretty strong today and I just kind of botched it. CTOR, I pressed the hotkey by accident when I was in class and got in and got out for $3.58. So technically green on 5 out of 5 stocks today, but Yeah, this day was a real dud. And it's surprising because we had such great momentum yesterday on GNLN. I just really didn't expect it to go from so hot to so cold. But this kind of begs the question of how am I able to make the adjustment to hot and cold? Yesterday was hot, today's cold. Tomorrow, what's it going to be? Might be a hot day, might be a cold day. So it comes back to that approach of starting each day first with the goal of making $1,000. Now I ended up getting $1,000 on my very first trade today on PBM. Yes, I ended up sizing from 5,000 to 10,000 to 15,000 shares by adding to the position. However, I was adding as it was moving up, so I'm also mentally moving my stop up. Now it's not a live stop because it's pre-market. It's a mental stop where I'll press the sell button if I see that price touch. So moving my stop up, initially risking 500 on the 5,000 shares, that's 10 cents. But realistically, yeah, I shouldn't lose 10 cents on 50-cent stock. So probably more like $250 of risk. Tightening up the stop as it moves higher, capturing $1,000, that's good. That's my cushion. All right, so now looking for the next trade. Jumping in, stalls out, right back out. It was break even, right? That was, I think, GNPX. Then ALPM, jumping in, jumping right out, break even. And then we have LASE, which squeezes up from 5 to 530, 540, 560, hits the scanner, hits $6, hits $6.20, and then it dumps. So on that one, again, it's like, had the potential to be a really nice trade, and then it stalls out. And so at that point, I sort of said, it's time to cool off. I'm not seeing anything holding up really well. And I've just had, basically 4 trades that were not that great. I had 2 break-even trades and 2 trades that, are green because I took my profit as it popped up, but could have easily been break-even or red if I wasn't quick to be, building that cushion. So today was cold, but you know what? Yesterday, it started similarly. Yesterday, I started going red on my first trade. And then the second trade, I started trading a penny stock, a low price stock, got myself up 3,000 on the day. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, GNLN hits the scanners and squeezes up 100%. And I'm up $7,000, $15,000, $20,000. Boom, just like that. So when something starts moving and I have the cushion to take the risk, I'm going to be aggressive. It starts by building the cushion. So in that way, every day starts the same. My first order of business is building the cushion. And if all I get is the cushion, that's a small green day. I'm happy with that. I can't complain. And that's basically what happened today. I got the cushion of 1,000. I got a little bit more, but I didn't get my way to my daily goal. And I realized it wasn't going to happen today. Odds are it wasn't going to happen. Now, I guess as it turns out, I probably could have hit the daily goal if instead of teaching class, I had stuck around and then traded ELWS. So that's a little unfortunate, but that's the luck of the draw. And for what it's worth, this squeezing up on no news is a little bit of a risky trade at 10:30 in the morning. This is not the type of day or the type of stock that I should probably usually be trading. So, I'm not going to feel too bad that I missed that opportunity because I think realistically that was probably a high risk trade. Second highest volume day that it's ever had though right now. So that's good to see. Now, if we look at the overall market, the S&P 500, SPY, I was looking at the S&P 500 today because, I was kind of watching this daily pattern that we have where, the market had this sort of sell off and then all the way down to almost the 200 and now bouncing back up. But I keep kind of thinking to myself, are we stair stepping? Are we going lower here? Or what's going to happen up around here? Because in this area, you see we step up and up and up. So we have a step down and then we push higher. Step down, which was bigger. This was a pivot because we broke the low of this pullback. We push up and we don't break this high here, right? Sort of step down and then lower and now lower. That's not good. Now here. So now we're starting to have descending resistance. So I'm sort of waiting to see, do we start to step back up and rally back higher, or are we coming back down to the 200? And right now, today, the overall market is strong. So we've got a strong market. We're seeing, some nice buying. So I guess we'll just, we'll just have to keep an eye on things. But I'm hopeful that the market is able to sustain the 200 and doesn't break below it. The thing I was mentioning to members earlier was that the S&P is so driven by, politics certainly, but, global economic data points that it can break the technicals. We'll bust through the 200 no problem if there's bad economic data. And so you'll see that happen a lot with the S&P. So in a way, the 200 is respected, but in another way, not when there's bad data, because when there's bad data, it'll just blow right through it, doesn't care. And we've seen that happen, several times here. So, I'm optimistic, and a good reason to be optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic that this doesn't result in a bigger drawdown. But, this is the biggest pullback we've had since, well, really since like last year at this time. And, when that happened, it kind of did end up being, 3 months of sort of selling off. So we may be in for a little bit of a longer stretch where we're below the highs. But I think even in spite of that, we're still going to see some good opportunities in the small cap market. It seems like traders are fired up. They're looking for opportunities. We are seeing them. And although I kind of botched it today by missing the one that ended up being the cleanest and is up 176%, I am grateful at least to be locking up another green day, right? Slow and steady wins the race. And so I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Those of you guys tuning in, I hope you make sure you check out a 2-week trial at Warrior Trading. You can trade side by side with me for the next 2 weeks. There'll be a link pinned to the top comment and linked in the description so you can check that out. I'll be streaming bright and early, and hopefully tomorrow we have some cleaner action during the, pre-market up till 10 a.m. window when I typically do the best. Because today we didn't have a lot. I made the best of what we had, but we didn't have a lot. All right. So as always, manage your risk. Remember, my results aren't typical, and trading is, of course, risky. So take it slow and practice as simulator before you put real money on the line. I'll see you guys back here for my next upload tomorrow afternoon.